How would you start? Like earlier, I kept on mentioning about 15 minutes, like 15 minutes, that's too long. It's not too long. I could talk for hours, but I'm a visual artist and I'd rather show you things, like you walk into an environment that I do and you see what I'm doing, and that's what it's about. Why do I do film and video installation art? First of all, I found a Super 8 camera when I was 16 and started making movies. Wanted to go to film school? No. Had to go to computer school, but that's okay. Anyways, so I do it on my own. I support myself. I work 40 hours a week, and my paycheck, everything, I go broke, goes towards my art. I buy my equipment. I run the show. Where I lived, which is my loft here in Detroit, is where I also exhibit my art. So I live in my art. I started doing installations. It started off therapeutic. I had left a long relationship. I moved here. I needed my space. When I do my installations, it's for a variety of reasons. One is because I need to do them, otherwise I get depressed. Two, I do it because I like to see people interact, of all races, of all ages. And also, I'm a big humanitarian. I try to be. Sometimes I hate people, and sometimes people hate me. But, I try to do art for what I call the common man and woman. And maybe I shouldn't keep using that term. But basically, when I do my installations, it's based on a theme. It's based to communicate to people. When I do my other art, when I draw, when I do sculpture, when I dance, when I goof around filming, that can be for any sake whatsoever. When I do my installations for the public, it's for a reason, for a theme, etc. This is the idea. First one was therapeutic. My second installation, I had read a book by Jerry Manders called 4 Arguments for the Elimination of Television. It was a book that was suggested to me by David Brown, who was my first film teacher at Wayne State. I decided to go back to school 2 years ago and to get a bachelor's in film studies, since I've always wanted to go to film school and I never could. And my job paid for it, so I went back. So anyways, he recommended this book because I had told him, should tell you, I haven't watched TV in now it's going on 10 years, so I don't know what the hell is going on in the world. I mean, I'm politically oriented and I believe in human rights and all this and that, and I maybe read some other papers or personally just try to communicate to people. I did an installation. It was called TV or Sex. Please choose only one. And there were like these check boxes. You know when like you're filling out a questionnaire and it says yes, no, or what your age is or whatever, and you got these little check boxes? I made flyers up that said TV or sex, choose only one. What would you choose, TV or sex? You wouldn't believe what people told me, man. I mean, you know what? Anyways, there's more variety on TV. I mean, that's what's made. Which is the truth in a way, but Jesus Christ, what are we coming to, But anyways, because I don't watch TV, I do my art all the time. I make, I create. I'm hyper, and I could spend all my time creating, if I had the money and the time. So anyways, the installation went well. It was almost like a fun house without the fun. You come into this space, which is a rather small space, but you can, oh man, what I can do with space. Anyways, you come into this space and you walk in from one set to the next, to the next. There's 10 sets, there's 10 rooms. And each room has some kind of representation about the theme. And what else I had in the installation on this one was I had 2 nude roaming poets. And what they were supposed to do is to communicate the back to nature, and that really, I had 2 poets. They were to socialize with the people. That was the point. Because when you're watching TV, you're removed from people, you're in an isolated environment, you're becoming passive. I mean, ask yourself, you got a long day at work, you come home, you watch TV, makes you really want to go to bed, don't it? I mean, all my life, I spent most of my life growing up on the TV. I didn't read much. I have an associate's degree in computer programming, that's it. I'm not culturally oriented. I become it more, the more I've exposed myself, the more I do art. So my installations are about doing things and stopping things and making yourself aware of things, okay? And it is for people. It's for anybody. I don't discriminate. I have no pretension. I love to see somebody walk off the street. I love to see an artist. I love to see a teacher. I love to see a city worker. I love to see anybody here. You can name all the categories. I throw out a few. They shocked you, they're gonna. You don't come to some art opening and see naked people walking around, but it was like getting back to basics. I had a nature set. They were part of the nature set. So when you walked in this nature set, it was all greenery and green and green and green and lights and color and sounds of nature, and they were part of it. And I wanted to show the difference between the two environments, which is, in nature, you're here, you're part of the world. In man-made environments, we're removing ourselves from the world constantly. And TV really, I don't know. Jerry Manders came up with this book in 1977. It was ahead of its time. And nowadays we have people against TV and stuff like that. But the book is still really valid to this day. There are some things you read that you are aware of just because we've progressed in times and we know more about things. But some of the things are so, well written and... I'm going off tangents, I apologize. But anyways, that was about TV or sex. People liked it because it was fun. They walked into different, like I said, a fun house without the fun. And there was video, there was film projections, there was art, there was everything, okay? All right. So that was my second installation. My third installation was called Work Square 10% Inspiration. I call it Work Square because it's fucking work to do art. It's no fun, and this was about the creative process. What I did was, I made an installation, and every day I made that installation, I videotaped myself, and I put that work into the installation, and then I showed you what I made out of that, which were some films that I had finished. I went back and finished a film I did in '94 in Canada. Okay, I finished it. So it was also about saying, hey, you have an idea, you haven't worked on it in a while, you scrapped it, you put it in the shelf, bring it back out, work on it again, complete it. And it was showing that process of working on it too. By the way, I'm a one-woman show. I pretty much do everything myself. Pretty much? No, I do everything myself. From making the flyers to painting the floor black to making the films to editing the night before the installation. Okay, so I do everything. To getting the food, to cleaning up the motherfucking place, to taking the cat litter out. Okay, to running the film to the lab, to buying equipment, to fixing equipment, not totally, a little bit. But anyways, so everything, okay? So I'm kind of obsessed in this right now. People liked it better than my second one. I was getting more slick in my presentation. I was learning from my installations, which were therapeutic, learning. Fourth one, I had gone to, usually my installations kind of relate to where I'm at in my life too. TV or sex, I was with teacher David Brown. He suggested a book. I had mentioned to him I didn't watch TV. He suggested the book. This got going with my idea about reality versus illusion. That's another thing. My installations are pretty much based on reality versus illusion. They all are, even the first one. Because, we have these planned or illusionary ideas about perfect relationships. Fuck, nobody has one. So anyways, and it's work, everything's work, and then you live and you die and that's it. So anyways, the fourth one was about worldwide problems, basically. I broadened it out to that idea based on going to Paris, France for the first time. I'm involved with a Frenchman. And so I went to his home country the first time to Europe. And, everyone says, oh, it's so beautiful and, it's different over there than here. Okay, yeah, sure, it's beautiful, it's different over there than here, but problems are everywhere, and I think there's this big misconception about things, and people are people, man. People are people everywhere. So, that's what got me going on this, and it's funny, at first I thought my lover would be pissed at me, because here I'm coming back and I'm making a critical installation about Paris, France. But, I love Paris too, don't get me wrong, but good, bad, it's everything. Everything is interconnected, and everything has a positive and negative side. It's not clear cut, it's not one-sided. So anyways, I came back here and I did that. It's focused on Paris, France mainly, and I used feature films and I intercut them and I made collages to indicate it, to fall in my theme. And then I also made one short film. Each installation I always make a short little film of my own that fits in, that doesn't seem like it fits in, but it does fit in. So anyways, and then the space that I use, I have windows on one side of the wall over here that you can't see, and wall on this side, okay? And so I work with the space that I have. It's not very big loft. I have windows to deal with, so I use that. So my space, my environment, but it also becomes part of my theme, and I work everything into itself. You know, you mold it, you sculpture everything into itself, and voila. I mean, it's like the world, everything's sculptured in, and here's the world, man, you know? Oh, another thing, it's funny, when I get into my work, I get a little obsessed, and because I'm doing everything myself, I have to go. I work a 40-hour job, I go to school, sometimes I do freelance gigs, and on the free time, I have to like work every moment I have. Of course I try to sleep, of course I take breaks, but I mean, I'm constantly going, because it's like, who else is gonna do it? Me, go. I hope this is recording. I'm just going to stop for a second to check, because sometimes my paranoid mind thinks it's stopped, and you know, I couldn't possibly stop, but Jury Mares, who mentioned French films. I used all French films. Jean-Luc Godard's Weekend killer film, and Hate killer. Anyways, okay, I did that one. Editing. Okay, that's another thing. I did a small installation recently. Hard is Life, Birth Your Spirit, with Kinga, great actress. When I do installations, I have tons of notes and tons of journals and tons of something. I'm always writing something or whatever, whatever. My fourth installation, Worldwide Problems. The book was about this thick of notes, and I have more editing notes. So sometimes I just go with the flow and I just do something. Sometimes done at the moment. Sometimes I think about it. I do a little bit of everything. It's not very like, you can't say like, oh, this is a person who thinks ahead of time or thinks while they're working. Or no, I do a little bit of everything. But what I've noticed a lot in my work is that the editing, how did I write? The editing usually molds my ideas. Meaning, most people when they make films, they have an idea, they have a script, and then they shoot it, and then they do a certain like logical order. Me, even though I'm a computer programmer, I do spaghetti logic. I jump around a lot, meaning sometimes editing makes my film. It directs me. So sometimes editing directs me, and me not directing, I'm not knowing. The film that I mentioned, the small installation I did, Hard is Life, the editing made the film, and the titles, the narration came afterwards. Anyways, I'm going on too long. Videos meaningless. Usually, I'm making my videos at the last minute. Everything's rushed, and I get really getting tired of that. And I told myself, okay, this is it. I have to start working with people. You want to be a filmmaker, anyways, Julie. You've got to start working with people, and you need to start taking the time you need to make the films really the way you want. But they're extremely compromised and rushed at the last minute. And usually most of my videos for all my installations are made anywhere from a week to 2 weeks before the opening night. I always make my deadlines. I always set my deadlines ahead of time. Like I'll say in January I start working on something. Okay, it's going to be April 31st. It's April 31st. It's January 31st. I hit my deadlines all the time. So I panic because, you know, I try to get everything I can do done the best I can. Working around problems, and there are always problems, don't be disillusioned. There are tons of problems at the last minute, and sometimes sometimes I'm pulling my hair out and crying, and there's nobody but this fucking space to talk to, you know, and it's okay, but sometimes, you know. Dancers is okay. I have lots of ideas in the future. I'm probably over 5 minutes. I mean, I've been working with restrictions all my life. Like, I'm cheap. I don't buy new equipment. I try to make do with what I have, which makes it a lot harder, but it does make it a lot more creative. That's true. So I understand your whole idea about being restricted, that we have to make our work appealing by speaking about it, by us being our work, which can be done. It's just that I'm tired of working with restrictions because that's all I've been doing all my life. And I'm starting to get into saving my money and buying good equipment because it's about due time. So sometimes you need good stuff. I have lots of ideas. Like I said, I draw, I sculpture, I dance. I love dance, but it's kind of a momentary thing. If I feel a moment, I go dance. I'm not a regular dancer. So anyways, and I have ideas which we call film sculpture. I'm getting tired of a flat wall. I like to project on not just objects or three-dimensional, but I would like to project on dancers. But as the dancers move, they move into the image. They move into the beam of light with the music, with the I could go into it more, but anyways. You know, I didn't want this to be so rushed, but I knew I had a lot to say in 5 minutes, and I'm probably going over 5 minutes. And if you're still sitting there, Jesus Christ, wow.